We'll be talking about the tourism industry and what teachers in the tourism industry or teachers teaching tourism as a subject, the mistakes that they're doing, which need to be corrected. I've taught a lot of learners who are doing tourism, and it came to my attention that the experience that I have received in high school, they don't even have it, which is the reason why most of them don't even have the opportunity to finish up their qualification when they go to tertiary, or when they are doing it, they don't even have a direction as to what should be done, which spheres or sectors within the industry they should tackle or give focus to. It's important that teachers need to expose their learners to the tourism industry sectors live. Learners, perhaps on holidays, should affiliate to a certain tourism body, or it can be a lodge, or it can be a game reserve, where they go and do practicals perhaps for 2 weeks, maybe during the holidays. The school must be able to fund that program. At the completion of those 2 weeks, learners must receive a certificate. This will expose the learners to potential donors, because this will be a good initiative where a certain tourism establishment might adopt those particular learners who are involuntarily basis to gain practical experience. This is something that also helped me while I was in high school. I did my practicals in grade 10. I was able to go to grade 11 to grade 12. Even when I was in tertiary studying the course in tourism management, I was able to receive experiential learning free, and I was paid for that on a monthly basis because I started with the institution from an early stage, and they were able at some point be able to fund some of my modules in university. And there are some of my friends who are also employed by that particular institution to date. I'm talking about 2003, 2004, 2005 when I completed my matric, and now it's 2025, so you can tell how many years that has been. But all of that, we have captured it together and put it so that we can be able to give attention and detail to the other learners out there in the public doing tourism, so they can find it very easy. So teachers who are teaching tourism, they mustn't teach because it's tourism. They must expose the learners to the tourism exposure. Take them to these attractions that they're talking about, especially in South Africa, the Mandela House, your Exton Photographic Museum, the Irish House Museum, Gold Reef City, Isaac Morrison Monument, Hector Peterson Memorial or Hector Peterson's grave, the Apartheid Museum, Paul Kruger statue in Church Square, Paul Kruger gravesite, Paul Kruger house. Let them have the experience of being in the tourism industry. This will also assist the learners so they can have an idea of what is it that is expected of them, so they can be able to function and be productive as such. Also, give them an experience of going to the airport, where they get to see South African Airways, get inside to the plane South African Airways, get inside the experience of being in airplanes of certain airlines, Lufthansa, British Airways, Cathay Airways, Egypt Air, Air Botswana, Air Zimbabwe, and Namibia, and other airlines. They need to get an exposure, and once they receive an exposure, it makes it much more easier for them. Take them on hikes. Let learners go on hikes. It's important that learners must go on hikes. Learners must go on excursions, package tours. Learners must go to the different lodges and tourism establishments and get an exposure of the tourism industry. That is what a tourism teacher should do. That is what my former tourism teachers did in high school. Now, you're a teacher who's teaching tourism and now you're surprised when you meet your learner in 2 to 3 years' time outside of school life. They're working at a clinic, they're doing something different to what they've been doing. And this is one of the easiest subjects that a lot of learners fail. I don't know how, because they don't do history. Tourism involves all these types of subjects. It involves history, it involves geography, it involves maths, it involves life sciences, it involves arts and culture, it involves creative arts, it involves a whole number of subjects. English, your languages, your Afrikaans, your Sezulu, and you name them. Now, if learners are not exposed to the tourism industry, they don't know the history of certain areas and how things are done, then it makes it much more difficult for them to understand. If you ask them certain definitions, what is tourism? Define the term tourism. Give me 20 types of tourism accommodations where tourists can sleep. What is inbound tourism? What is outbound tourism? They become clueless. So I urge all teachers in South Africa, and whoever's watching this video, that you need to put your kicks on Route 626. In other words, you need to pull up your socks. We'll be giving you a method on how is it that you're going to teach tourism and give authentic knowledge to the learners. Cheers.